Good morning and welcome to the Show Up, Wise Up and Rise Up show with me this morning, Shell Shohet. For those of you who haven't seen the announcement by Danny, she is currently checking in or probably getting on a plane right now from the lovely Italy with her client. And so she asked me if I would mind stepping in to the breach and joining you this morning so that we don't miss a morning of the Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show. So happy Friday. How is everybody this morning? Let me get comments up so that I can see everybody. Good morning, Lisa Jane. Good morning, Gavanda. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Facebook user. Let us know who that is, because I can see you know me saying good morning, Shell, but I don't know who you are. So either give StreamYard your permissions to show us who you are, or you can just pop your name in so that I know who you are. So thank you, Commander. That is such a lovely welcome. So how are we all this morning? How is Friday shaping up to be? I know it's only 8 o'clock in the morning, but I don't know about you, but I have been up for a little while. I have Kiddy starting his day at online schooling, so he was up for an 8 o'clock science lesson. So we're all up in our house. And so it was no trouble to join in this morning. I've got a lovely guest waiting in the wings that Danny had already arranged, the lovely Tracy Gilmore. And I can't wait to get to know her because she is a brand new person to me, new in my network. Good morning, Danny. I can see you in the wings. Good morning, my darling. So I hope you are all chilled. You and Claire are enjoying your time at the airport, ready to fly home. So how is everybody on this Friday morning? Now, I know because I've been watching the Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show for the last, I don't know how long now, how long Danny's been doing it, 6, 7 months. Danny says, good morning, everyone. I'm just about to get on the plane. Good morning, Donna. So I know that she goes through the weather with you and that she asks you on a Friday what you are celebrating. So pop in the comments, let me know, what are you celebrating? Did you set any intentions at the beginning of the week? I want to know. And also take a look outside that window, have a look and let me, what a legend of a guest. Thank you. That's a lot from you, Danny. Let me know what's on the outside of your window. I want to know what the weather is doing where you are. For me, there's blue skies, but it is a bit chilly this morning. I went outside, completely unexpected how cold it would be. I think we're going to get some frost soon where I am. And I'm in Hertfordshire, so near Cambridge, Hertfordshire, kind of North Hertfordshire area. So where are you guys logging in from? I want to know. We've got like a load of people in this morning. So let me know in the comments before we go any further what you are up to today and what the weather's like. I've got a few things that I need to tick off for Danny and to make sure that you know about. First of all, I want to make sure that everybody is up to date and knows all about Danny's speaker challenge. Let me know if you don't, because this is something that I did personally back just before lockdown. I did Danny's challenge myself. Now, I've been in Danny's community and in Danny's network for near enough a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. And me and Danny, I'm a bit like Danny. I literally landed in her inbox and was kind of like, I need to know you a bit more. I want to, we're going to be friends and we're going to work together. And we eventually jumped on a call. But so the Queen Bee, Danny herself, is celebrating an amazing few days working here in Italy with a VIP one-to-one intensive. It's Scorchio here. Fantastic. Thank you. I'm very jealous. So I jumped on Danny's challenge back in, it must have been February. Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. Back in February, and I knew that I wanted to, no, it must have been March, sorry. I knew that I wanted to start talking more. I did lots of workshops. I spoke on stage for different things, but I knew that was a skill that I wanted to strengthen. And I knew that there was a better way of doing it. I hated those networking meetings where I had to stand up and say who I was. I never had a consistent answer. I was exactly where a lot of you guys in the audience will be. Felt very uncomfortable, didn't know exactly how to form a talk, did all the Googling, did all the YouTubing, but I knew that it was something I wanted to work on. And so I jumped on Danny's challenge back at the beginning of the year. And in those 4 or 5 days, I made big breakthroughs and realized, hey, Naomi, and realized exactly what I needed to do, but also realized how much was missing from my repertoire and how many gaps there were. And so I jumped on, and I'll actually be, and now look at you about to rip the Be Inspired stage out. Yeah, in October. So Danny just beat me there. In October, I'll be actually joining Danny on stage and Naomi on stage for Be Inspired, and sharing my story, which I think I made Danny cry, eat popcorn, laugh, and all sorts when we went through that element of her course, one-to-one. And yeah, it's been an experience, but one experience I would never want to change. It's been so valuable. It's had lots of breakthroughs. It's totally changed my mindset on so many things. Naomi's excited to be with me on stage as well. Hello, good morning. So tell me, before we get the lovely Tracy Gilmore on for our chat this morning, I want to know, what's the weather with you like, and what are you celebrating? We've got a couple more minutes before I bring Tracy on. So let me know what you are excited about and who is joining Danny's group. It's going to be kicking off on the 28th of September. We are very proud to be part of the Hive, Danny. So tell me, what exactly are you celebrating? What did you set any intentions? I know I did. So this week, my intentions were definitely not straightforward. Few of them went awry. Plans A pretty much all went out the window this week, but plan Bs have been put into action. So I'm really pleased with how I've literally had to change direction at the last second this week. So I had a photo shoot planned, all set, makeup done, and unfortunately something technical happened and we couldn't do it. So that had to be rearranged. So plan B is in place. I had a website all being sorted out. Good morning, Ginny. Lovely to see you. We're talking about what we've achieved this week. So what celebrations have you got? We had a website all being set up and going forward, and then some technical stuff and some personal stuff came up for that person who was helping me on that. And so that went out the window, and it's back to the drawing board and sorting that out as well. But I've not stopped. I have kept momentum. And so we're still moving forward, and it's just a bump in the road. Good morning, Sonal. Good morning. Great to see you. Naomi, building my mini course. I'm recording today. Oh, good luck, Naomi. After a few weeks time out, I've loved being back on my game. And we're loving having you around, Naomi. I can't wait to see the mini course, and I can't wait to see you on stage. It's going to be so amazing. Good morning, Joanna Smith. It's amazing to have you all in the house. So while you keep commenting, I am going to bring in the amazing Tracy Gilmore. Now, that's all right. You can be late to the party, Joanna. No problem at all. So I'm going to bring in Tracy Gilmore. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. me and Tracy met literally minutes ago in backstage because she is new to my network. This is someone new for me to meet. So I am going to be learning about Tracy as I speak to her, as you are learning about her as well. So I'm mega excited to bring her on. Let's get to know Tracy. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I was just listening into everything you were saying, and I'm also signed up for the challenge, so I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait.
You
really
won't.
Excited.
Yeah, it's so excited, and I honestly just like go all in because you will get so much out of just those 5 days. And then if you can do Danny's program, if that works for you and fits for you, then like I couldn't recommend it more highly. This woman is a legend when it comes to getting us on stage and beating those blocks, believe me.
Yeah,
Plenty of them.
And listening to you when you were talking about how much your mindset has changed, you know, and I think that's the key to everything, isn't it? If you get your mindset sorted, everything else just kind of slips into place.
Totally. So tell us a little bit about you, Tracy, because like I said to the audience just before I brought you onto screen, I don't know you. This is our first time really meeting, and I love meeting new people. I am one of those people who loves to connect people and loves getting to know new people. So I am so excited to find out more about you and what you do and what your story is. So why don't you start and kick off by giving us a little introduction and letting us who you are?
All right. It's always quite difficult to decide where to start. Where do you start in your story? So a long time ago, I used to be a social worker.
Okay.
I am mum to 2 wee girls. So I'm a single mum. I've got my 2 wee girls. I was a mental health specialist who then became quite unwell with depression and anxiety. And the ironic thing with that is that I worked in mental health for such a long time, but didn't see it in myself. So eventually when I went along to my doctor and she said, I think this is what's going on, it was almost like shock horror, like what, me? That can't happen to me. I'm a confident, independent woman, that can't happen to me. So fast forward a wee bit and eventually I left social work and set up a project called the Warrior Mum Project. And that was all, it's just when you were saying about mindset, it was about mindset, resilience, you know, building yourself up from the inside out and feeling empowered, because I think those are the key elements. If you have your mindset sorted and you feel empowered, then life is yours, isn't it? You go from feeling stuck and trapped to feeling like I can just take on the world. So that's still going on. I've still got the coaching element of that, and I also run a mental health charity as well. So I do both. And
I can totally relate to the mental health element of your story there, and that realization of I can't be like, how can I be the one suffering from that? Like, that's not something that's supposed to happen to someone like me.
Yes.
And I think that's a common occurrence, that like I speak to many women that they just can't quite identify that it doesn't fit their identity, and yet they are suffering with it. And when you don't accept it, it can be really hard to overcome, right?
Absolutely. And I think the bit there you said about identity, we don't identify as that because we are busy being these strong, confident, independent women, and the depression or the anxiety or whatever's going on, it seeps in so gradually. And then for me anyway, I looked in the mirror and I thought, who the hell am I? Where have I gone? You know, you just literally don't recognise the person staring back at you in the mirror. And something happens. I had a wee baby at the time, so I've got 2 wee girls. One is now 13, one is 6. So I had the baby and she was in her cot, and I was just sitting on the edge of my bed thinking, you know, if I just walked out that front door just now, say I'm going to the shop and I never come back, they're just not going to even notice. They're happy, they don't need me. And the baby cried and kind of snapped me out of that thought. And you just think, you know, how many people get to that point of believing that their families are better off without them, and God knows what could have happened if that baby hadn't cried at that moment. And it was then I decided, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm taking my life back. I've had it. Not in such polite terms because, you know, I kind of swear a bit, but I just thought, no, to hell with this. I'm done with this. And that was the start of me thinking and knowing that I had to sort my mindset out, to sort my life out and take my life back, because I wasn't going to play hostage anymore.
Wow, and just that statement, I'm not going to play hostage anymore. I can totally, like, that's hit me genuinely, because that is exactly kind of the thought process that I had when I had that realization. I don't hide the fact I've had some really low points in my life and some real struggles with mental health. And even through lockdown, even through the last couple of years, you know, I've had things that I had to overcome. And each time that I've gone through things, it's been my mindset. It's been making that choice, right? What am I doing? Like, what do I want to choose for myself? And it's making that choice that's made the huge difference for me. Yes, I've had to make sure that I take care of my needs and make sure, you know, I'm doing all the needs meeting. So enough sleep, enough eating the right things, drinking the right things, and learning about that stuff also helped. I don't know about for you, but for me, it helped me with my mindset. Because it allowed me to have a really logical reason why I had to drink enough, why I had to eat the right foods, why eating a whole plate of chips was not a good idea, and rather a big salad was much better idea. And adopting those habits, those better habits, always started with my mindset.
And now, so much health just comes from your mindset. You know, if it's the big picture. It's all these different bits that come together, and it's not just, well, I need to exercise or I need to do this. It's every bit that you mentioned there, from what you eat to what you drink. You know, one of the biggest things for me was to stop drinking alcohol, because I just felt where it would take my thinking. It would take my thinking down into darker places that I just didn't want to go. And then the physical aspects of that as well, where you're just tired, you're demotivated, you can't be bothered. And I've seen the difference, and it's taken a while to get to this point. And what you're saying as well, Shell, about, you know, these things happen. Life continues to happen. Hurdles are still presented to us. I went through the most horrific breakup in November of last year, just after I'd started the job, where I went to my work and I came home and I was effectively made homeless by my then partner with my 2 girls. And if I was still in that place where I was being held hostage by my mental health, I would never have been able to recover from that so quickly. I licked my wounds for a couple of months, and then after that, I was like, no, I'm going to create a new life for me and my girls, and this is how it's going to be. And it's a choice, exactly what you're saying again. It's a choice. And unfortunately, in Britain, we have this mentality of, well, it's my doctor's job to make me better, or it's such and such, or I need to go to a counsellor, or I need to do this. It's your job to make you better. It's your job to take responsibility and take ownership and say, do you know what? I've had enough of this, and I'm going to choose how I want to live, and I'm then going to go and do it. And people just don't realise it, because we're used to going to the doctor. I'd done it. I mean, and it got me to where I needed to be to then move on. But I'd done the 6 sessions of counselling. I took the medication, and it helped to a point. But at some point, you want to feel as though I'm actually in control of my life. This is my life, and I choose. And until we get to that point, we're going to be dependent on outside external people and situations, and it doesn't work long term.
Yeah, so Joanna Smith saying in the comments, 100% mindset is everything. And Alund, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I'm terrible with names. Tell me if I'm not. Yes, I agree with that. I came across very confident, but underneath, very bad depression and anxiety. Alund, you are not alone. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a stylist and a women's coach. And so I have gone through so many times and so many excuses as to why I couldn't accept my own depression over the years. And a lot of it was to do with the fact that I had to show up as this confident person, and behind I was hiding many, many secrets. So I totally can relate to that. Excuse your mind as well if I find important. I try to have a challenge every day to keep my mind healthy. Yeah. So exercising your mind is a really good thing to do. It kind of gives a little bit of self-care, a little bit of exercise to your mind. So tell us, Tracy, a little bit more about the business and the mental health organization that you have now.
Well, one day I applied for a job and I got it. I wasn't really looking for a job, but I'm a great believer in that you're exactly where you're always in the right place at the right time, even if you don't realise it. So I got the job, and I've walked into a mental health charity that's been, I think it was established in the late 1980s. So there's a lot of work to be done there, but there's a huge amount of potential. And my whole agenda is to bring coaching into the mental health space, because I just know how powerful it is.
Yeah.
I know the difference it can make, and it was coaching that got me out of my depression. So the idea is that we take coaching into the mental health space, and it's an add-on to whatever else you might be able to get, from mainstream services. And in the background, I'm still doing my Warrior Mum work, which is essentially mindset coaching and confidence building and self-esteem, and working on programs. The initial idea behind the Warrior Mum was about resilience and mindset, but taking it into deprived communities that were affected by poverty.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of long-winded exploration of, I do feel that mindset and empowerment go hand in hand. And if we had empowered communities, we could tackle loads of these social issues. Once a social worker, always a social worker, I think. And we could do something about these things. Like child poverty in my area is huge, and it's just so unnecessary. So that's the idea behind that. I do a lot of poverty work in the background as well. So it's quite a mixed bag, but fundamentally, it's all about mindset and coaching and empowerment and resilience, all connected.
So tell me, and I'm genuinely really interested in how lockdown has both affected you and your work, but also the organisation and the communities that you're working in. Because, I mean, I know from where I am down here in Hertfordshire, lockdown had a big effect on services around here, the voluntary services that I was involved in pre-COVID. My kids' school got shut down completely, permanently. Lots of things have happened. I've seen shops and, cafes and groups completely disappear. So how has it affected your area? How's it affected you and the organisations and the work that you're doing?
It's been very similar. We've seen lots of, well-established businesses just disappear overnight, and the impact that's going to have then in employment, and then all the associated issues that creates. For me, we work from a building, so we would have people coming into a building, almost like a community centre. So we had to close that. So all of our work was then from home. All of these individuals that would come in on a daily basis were left, well, they could have been left high and dry, but what I decided to do was just mobilise our team and get them out into the community. So although we were working in under restrictions, we were able to offer support online through Zoom, which everybody either loves or hates, don't they? It's everybody waving and thumbs up and the exaggerated nods. But we done things like that. So we moved online, we moved to the phones, we done one-to-one support using PPE. So we had the gloves, the masks, the hand sanitizer, all of that. And I just decided that we weren't going to stop, we were just going to adapt. And it's been a godsend, actually. I am one of the people I'm grateful for lockdown, because it's helped me to redesign the service at work. It's brought me closer to my two wee girls. We were in the house and they thrived, and our connection is better, and we had some weird and wonderful conversations because we had the time to do it. We weren't getting up and rushing about in the morning to get to school, to get to work. We could relax a wee bit, and I think for lockdown it gave us the gift of time and the gift of connection, real connection. But also when schools went back, I was like, Thank you. I think I was nearing exhaustion. It has been so busy. I probably was heading for a bit of burnout, to be honest. It's been so busy with work and having to support a wee team that just were trying to get their heads around something so different, so drastic. So there was lots of that. And then the girls were upset because they weren't able to see their dad. And then just the fear of the virus as well. You know, that was a biggie for my eldest, not so much my wee one. And then the after effects of that is my eldest isn't really going to be in school because she's anxious about getting the virus. So loads of stuff going on, but overall it's been really positive.
And do you think that there's, for your organisation and the way you're working, do you think that, like, I think the way things are panning out, we're going to be in this new normal for quite some time yet, and it's been devastating for a lot of services, but a lot of services have done what you've done and had people like you within the organisation that have been able to rally the troops and get them to almost turn on a dime, and change the way they work. Do you think it will enhance the service going on when you can reintroduce face-to-face? Will you continue, do you think, with the online services and hopefully be able to offer more because of it?
Yeah, I think for us, I don't want to go back to what we were before. I don't think that would be in anybody's best interest. I think, you know, going forward, we've established a really good service.
Right.
We were about to do more, and then we had more restrictions. So it's almost like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, which means that I need to be on my game to then think, right, what do we do? What can we do? But the feedback from people who are getting our support has been amazing. It's been positive, and you still have people who don't like change, so they're not going to be on side. But you need to kind of balance that. Well, we all have a fear of change, but we are doing what we can do. So we will carry on. We will carry on, and we just take it as it comes, and we'll take feedback and we'll just adapt. I think it's a great lesson in having to be able to adapt and thinking your feet just get stuff done.
It really has. It's really challenged your mindset in a way, and that mindset work that we've been doing for the years in advance has really prepared a lot of us to like take it as an opportunity, not as yes, it's a scary, yes, it's a crisis, yes, it's all of that, but equally it's how you view it, and it's how you see it. So we have in our house, we have a number of different businesses, and it really does depend on who you talk to. If you talk to those that don't do any mindset work and see the glass half empty rather than half full, you'll get all the negativity, and you'll turn the corner and speak to someone who's the opposite, and you'll get, everything's not been fantastic, haven't, done everything I wanted to do this year, but I've been able to grow this part of the business, or we've been able to launch this, or we've been able to do that. And so, we're good. So like mindset is so important to how you frame things.
Absolutely.
Exactly, Joanna. So Joanna's saying it's all about the reframe. So tell us a little bit about where you're at with Warrior Mum, and what's that looking like now post, well, I say post lockdown, but we're kind of in that funny ground at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. It feels a bit like being in limbo, doesn't it? You're just like, where are we going next?
I had a phone call off my sister last night. So I live up in Hertfordshire, my family all down in Wales, and her county, the whole county of Rhondda Cynon Taf, which is where I grew up, is all gone into lockdown. So they can't leave the county now. Wow. No one can go in the county, no one can come out. Wow. There's restrictions on like opening times and family bubbles again and everything like that. But so there's different parts of the country that have different restrictions. So we're all kind of like, where are you based? So you know what restrictions we're facing. So what has Warrior Mum come up against, and how have you had to adapt with that?
with Warrior Mum, we were just set to go and deliver a 12-week programme in a local community through, it was a national organisation that had approached me and wanted me to deliver my programme to a group of women. And then lockdown hit, so it just effectively stopped. And because of some of the barriers that this particular group of women face, we've come across things like digital poverty. So not everybody has access to Wi-Fi or the internet. They don't have devices. If they do have devices, it's limited. So, kids might need it for this and parents, so it just stalled. It stalled, and it will happen at some point, but when that might be, we don't know. So effectively, I just took a wee step back, and I've been doing some of the background work and just getting Warrior Mum ready to go when it's time to go, and just put all my energy into the charity work. But in doing that as well, I've been away doing different bits and pieces of training to get myself ready to get the programmes online and smaller programmes. Lots of the feedback from women that I've been chatting to is around confidence and their self-esteem. And with everything that lockdown has brought, challenges in being a mum and being a partner, just in being yourself, with employment, everybody's confidence has been rattled a wee bit, even for those of us who really focus on our mindset. So there's stuff in the pipeline around wee courses around confidence that people will be able to access online, and free things as well as paid things, because we're all in different situations, aren't we? And I think just that bit about being a social worker, it's just always in me. So you just want people to have a good shot at life. Yeah,
it's about
definitely.
Accessibility, isn't it? I know. I grew up in a mining village, so like there was a lot of poverty around us. I mean, I remember being the town. I say the town, the village that it was a large village, very small town that I grew up in, was constantly on the news when I was a kid for not the greatest reasons, for drug problems, for real poverty problems and ASBOs and things like that. So I really do understand the challenges. I mean, I didn't have a computer in my house until my late teens. I was one of the last people in my class to get a computer. And then, I didn't get a mobile phone till I left home. I was, again, one of the last people because I went to school out of the area. So it really does still happen 20 years later. There are kids and families that have this genuine technology poverty. I think we're all guilty of forgetting that at times. And it's only when like someone like yourself who's doing something in that community picks up on it, or we have something like COVID that closes everything down, and then all of a sudden you realize, there's a chunk of kids that don't have computers, they don't have mobile phones, they don't have the access to even BBC Bitesize and opportunities like that. So it's something we mustn't forget.
Yes, and it is easy to forget because people don't often see it. Even for my kids who went to a school, who in a primary school, my eldest went to a school in a very deprived area, speaking to her about, the Warrior Mum stuff and what it was about and challenging poverty through empowering people. She couldn't see poverty round about her. And even I do some stuff with Joseph Rowntree Foundation as well, again in poverty, and people with lived experience of poverty have fed back that they never knew they were living in poverty. So there's all of these different things that we need to tackle. And stuff that I saw growing up as a teenager, cold homes. I remember having a sleepover with my friend and you could see your breath in the bedroom because it was so cold. That stuff is still happening. I'm 43, and it just makes me really annoyed, because you think, for goodness sake, why have we not done something to eradicate this? Why are we living in a world, in a country, we have great extremes of wealth, and then we have people who literally are making a decision: do we buy dinner tonight or do we put £5 in the electricity meter? And that's the reality for people, and it's just not okay. And that's why if we could work with people on in groups and one-to-ones and raise people up and raise communities up, they become self-sufficient. They're not relying on other things, and it just makes their life better, and they move their life on. They don't need us to do it, they do it.
It's your experience, my experience, very similar. We went through something, we got a certain amount of help to get us to a point, and then the mindset took over and we made those decisions. But you can't make those decisions if you're not exposed to mindset work, and you're not exposed to the benefits of doing that mindset work and how it can change. And by doing the work you're doing, it sounds like you're doing that work to expose these amazing women, because they are amazing women, because they cope with things that most people go through life not having to experience.
Yes, and they never see their strengths, they never can see their qualities and their strengths, because they're just used to that. This is just how things are for me, or that doesn't happen to people like me. People like me don't go to uni. You can hear all the limiting beliefs, you can hear all the stories that keep people stuck, and if people aren't exposed to what might be, what could be, they just think this is it, and it's tragic. It really is tragic.
I can totally relate. I've been that kid that's gone to uni, and I've been that mum that literally had a penny in her bank account and chose to feed her child rather than feed herself, and literally lived off a can of beans for a week.
I was the same. I mean, I had a really well paid job as a social worker, and I chose to leave that partly because mostly to do with the impact it was having on my mental health again. And I just thought, I had got myself better, returned to work, and the job had changed so much, and they wanted me to do things that just didn't sit. It just went against the grain. I couldn't do it, and I could feel myself getting unwell again. So it was a choice, your career or your children, because that unwell mum just wasn't good enough for them or me. So I went from a really well-paid job to struggling to make ends meet on benefits, and really, when kids needed a new pair of shoes, your heart sank, because you thought, oh my God, where am I getting the money from? Where does the money come from? So,
and it gives us an understanding to be able to actually relate and empathize with those that are going through it, and also recognize it as well. And I take that as a really valuable lesson, and I take that as a really valuable experience that I'm able to help and support going forward. So tell us, as we wrap up the show, thank you so much. It's been amazing to speak to you this morning, and it sounds like you and your organization have been doing amazing work throughout this challenging time and crazy time, and I dare say it's going to be continuing for some time to come. So tell us, how can people connect with you, follow you, learn more about Warrior Mum, learn more about your other organisation as well? So let us know here where people find you and what people can connect with you with.
Yep. Facebook, I'm on Facebook as the Warrior Mum Project. So that's just, if you do a research for the Warrior Mum Project, you'll find me there. I like to hang about over on Instagram, so I'm over there just as I am Tracy Gilmore, and tracygilmore.com is my website. The charity is called 360, so it was called something else, but I changed the name of it because I think it needed to happen. But the idea behind 360 is we're going to help you turn your life around. Just because this has happened doesn't mean to say you're there. We're going to help you turn your life around and get you back to feeling like you're yourself again.
I love that. That's amazing, and I will definitely be jumping into Warrior Mum, and I'll definitely be coming and giving you some support over there at 360, because it sounds like the most amazing organisation and well done for pivoting and for really, and I mean that word gets bandied about, but you've literally done it. and you've offered that support where it's really been needed over the last 6-7 months. I'm losing count of how many months we've been in this situation now. I've given up. So what do you have planned? Let's round it off on a positive. What do you have planned for the remainder of the year, and how are you going to go out of 2020 on a high, Tracy?
I don't like to make too many plans, because as we know, anything could happen.
True.
Personally, I am just looking forward to Christmas with my girls. Last Christmas was terrible because of the breakup. So me and my girls have lovely PJs, nice food and good movies planned. Business-wise, it's just spreading the word for both Warrior Mum and the coaching, and for 360. It's just bringing people into our world and hopefully making an impact that way. So just more of that, and then we'll see where it sounds scary to say 2021, doesn't it? But we'll see what the new year brings.
Yeah, it does. It really does, because it's one of those things like, okay, 2020, we were all so positive, and we had so many plans, and 2020 was going to be the year.
Everything went out the window.
Almost exactly the day it started, something kicked off, right? So yeah, I can totally understand that feeling. I'm laughing at myself.
I think when we start to talk about it, we can see the things that we've had to kind of navigate and just get through. And so I think I'm just like, go with the flow. We'll see what happens, and we'll just take it as it comes.
Yeah, perfect. I have thoroughly enjoyed having a chat with you, Tracy. I'm going to pop you backstage now to finish up the show. But thank you so much for giving your time this morning. And let's make sure that everybody heads on over to Warrior Mum and gives you some support over there, and also 360, because it sounds like the most amazing organisation.
Thank
you. Thank you again. I'm just going to pop you in backstage, Tracy. I'll be with you in a moment. Well, what amazing lady did we just have? Like I said, I didn't know Tracy myself before the show, and I love meeting people like Tracy, because it shows that there are still things that need to be thank you, Joanna, thank you so much, that we need to pay attention to, and we need to support. There's lots of organizations out there, and I know Danny is a big believer in supporting different organizations and different walks of life, that she is able to give this platform to amazing people like Tracy and let them shout from the rooftops what they're doing, so that more people can get on board. So please do go and head over to Tracy's Warrior Mum group and give her some support, and also give some support to 360, because it sounds like it's a really needed organisation. So a few things to round up. Danny will be back next week. You will have the Queen Bee herself all here in-house. She'll be back home. You need to get yourself signed up for the challenge. If speaking is something that scares you, makes you nervous, makes you feel uncomfortable, but you have a business, even though we're not doing the in-person networking now, I promise you what you learn on that challenge will benefit you on things like this. It gives you the things. Thank you, Danny. It gives you the skills and the know-how of how to introduce yourself, how to hold yourself in a room, how to really get over any of those limiting beliefs and blocks that can stop you in your progress. So make sure you sign up. The challenge starts on the 28th of September, and it is well worth it. Even the challenge itself, standalone challenge itself, is amazing. But if you can join the group afterwards that she'll be launching, because I know she's just about to open the doors to her program, her signature program, then I am here. I am proof. I would not have been able to do this pre-working with Danny. So please, you will hear lots of testimonials, but this lady knows what she's doing, and she certainly has changed my life. So let's have a look at a quick get signed up. We're going to have a blast, Danny says. You have, oh no, thank you. You've stepped in our shoes. Great. Enjoyed it. Thanks. Fantastic. Thank you, Danny, for saying I've smashed it. Well, it sounds like everybody has had a great show this morning. I am so, so grateful for everyone joining me. Thank you very much for allowing me to step into this space for Danny while she's at the airport. You will get your Queen Bee back on Monday, but for now, have an amazing Friday. Celebrate those wins. They're really important. Celebration is just as important as setting those intentions on the Monday or the Sunday. And I will catch up with you next week. I'll be around. I will be in the Hive. And you'll also find me over on my social media, Shal Shahed. So if anyone wants to connect, then please do. But please stay tuned to the Hive for what Danny has next week. And Danny's about to take off and head back to the UK. So she'll be back with you very, very soon. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you've all had a blast. I certainly have. Going to celebrate a win today. It's a new car day. Woohoo! We'll celebrate with you, Joanna. Perfect. Have a fab time, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.